So, hi, Emilio. I
Hi.
just wanted to have this opportunity to interview you with a certain subject, and this is through my experience. So, I have spent many years on personal growth, exploring many different kind of techniques, like hypnotherapy to family constellation or different type of meditation. And yet, time to time, I felt that something is still missing. So, what do you think is happening um, in someone who feels this persistent void? And where is the true starting point for such a person?
Well, in my experience, a person that has done a lot of intensive or long practices like Vipassana for 10 days or intensive retreats of any sort, we do have those experiences, the outcome of these retreats, but they are very difficult to integrate. So we are fulfilled for the time that we are engaged with the practice or right after the practices. And then this fulfillment, that is the connection, fundamentally the connection to our own being or our true essence, start to fade as the personality kind of regroups. The layer that was separating us from those states kind of comes back, but it's coming very slowly and we don't really realize how it happens. And so we find ourselves then again, we are longing for that space that we found. We almost not sure if we really connected with it, if it was a dream, if it's true. And then we again feeling that missing, that emptiness or that longing. And so I think that what happens is what I was just saying, that the personality comes back. And I think that what is needed is a work of self-understanding or understanding how that personality coming back happens.
Hmm. Yeah, makes sense. That more trying to do something different than before, then some kind of already before I started some new technique, I already know somewhere that it will be only temporary. Like, yes, I found this totally no mind space, for instance, with certain meditation. But soon after, I know already after a few days, I go back to the normal stage. So that I believe that I'm not doing right or I should do again and again. Yeah, something like that. And then this sense of how to say, not disappointment, it's yeah, it's a void. It comes back more deeply than before, deeper than before. But one thing is clear that I don't know what happened. That it's actually it's another question that since I start to process with totally different experience. I don't know what is this. What is the difference than another technique or another process?
Yeah, what I think the difference is, I guess, again, as I was saying before, is the understanding. For example, that emptiness that you mentioned, that maybe we feel when the personality comes back, when we, again, we have a good experience, mindfulness or presence, whatever, what we call spiritual experiences. And then as we come back to the normalcy, to the personality, we may start to feel that sense of something is missing or some emptiness. And we even have an understanding about that emptiness. So we don't just wonder, what happened. We say, okay, if there is emptiness, let me inquire into it. And we know that because of the system, the teaching is telling us, well, the ego structure, the ego identity is fundamentally disconnected from the essential nature, and it is grounded in kind of nothing. It doesn't have really ontological reality like the experience of the true self, for example. So we understand that, and then we inquire into the emptiness, and we may see that after a while, at the beginning, it seems that something is missing, and then we start to realize that it's just empty, and then we start to realize that that is spaciousness, and then spaciousness is not so bad, and then from that spaciousness, maybe we feel some sort of excitement or some sort of energy or dynamism. So as we don't take our first impression or reaction to that emptiness as final, we inquire into it, we penetrate it, and we may find our aspects of what seemed to be something missing becomes almost something like a resource. So I think this is what the precision of this diamond logos, the diamond work, brings us to these possibilities, because it's not leaving anything to chance. It's not like just leaving things to happen by coincidence. We really inquire into things, we focus, we understand them, and everything becomes clear. And once there is the clarity, we have the possibility to maybe eventually integrate that state, not to the spiritual states, the experiences that we have achieved. We may be able to carry them with us at all times, or better said, our direct experience of ourselves becomes dominant rather than the personality, the identification with the personality.
And still, that with DLT, it's never really kind of our ego. It's not left alone. It's always something like looking for the way to integrate, or many students. I already start to interview a few people, and each people said that it's really the process of integration. Yeah, so that is very how to say, basic difference with the other technique or teachings, I think.
Yes, many teaching, they kind of do not really welcome the ego as an integral part of almost like a problem. It's almost like an issue, and then we should get rid of it and resolve it. In our work, rather than getting rid of it, it's like we are integrating it in a kind of two-way system. We are integrating the ego, and the ego is integrating our essence. So the ego, from being a veil, like a lens that is separating us or that is disconnected, is becoming a lens from which we can express ourselves. So that becomes the kind of interface for the truth, for the essential self or the essential nature, to be able to relate to people, for example. So the ego, from being a sort of veil of separation or maybe isolation and alienation, becomes something that can actually connect the real self, the essence, to the outer, let's say, to other people or to life, to bring the spirit, or so to speak, the essence, into daily life, into the marketplace. So it's really the interface that we need to be able to be with others and to do things in the world. So it's integrated in a way that is becoming an instrument, becomes capacity, rather than that the beginning is almost like something that keeps us separate from ourselves. We function, maybe we do everything that is expected from us, we function really well, but we feel that emptiness. With our work, we try to let the ego connect through that emptiness, let's say, connect through the essential nature, and then it feels like it's not isolated anymore. I'm not isolated anymore. I connect to myself. And then I can be in the world knowing that I have something inside of me, let's say, metaphorically speaking, there is my essence is here, and I'm representing it rather than feeling all alone and I don't know why I'm in this world. It's really, it's a loving, it's almost like a love affair. The ego and the essential part, they come together in harmony.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see, in some of the cultures, for example, Japanese culture or certain cultures, is recognized when somebody has a nice character, a nice ego, and an ego which is elegant and polite, is acknowledged because is embodying a certain quality of being, integrity, reliability. All of these are aspects of our true self. So when the ego is able to show those, even ordinary people recognize it. It's elegant, the beauty when the ego is in tune with the real. And many older people, for example, as they mature, they really embody, even without doing the work, they naturally become more wise and more connected. But not all of us. So we're trying to do the work so we become wise also.
I
Yeah.
see. So, one question arises that in order to start this, to join the DLT teaching, is there anything we better to, how to say, prepare ourselves, like to meditate or whatever? Some exercise before participating in this course.
Well, I mean, we are trying to deliver the teaching from the beginning to everyone, so we don't really have prerequisites.
Okay.
And even, because if you think about it, we don't, it's like some tradition, they require the student to reach a certain stage before they can uh, receive maybe some of the empowerments from the teachings. They need to have a certain state of being actualized. But because we're working with the personality structure, with the ego structure, we can always start wherever we are. Whatever issue is, if a person has some sort of issue, it doesn't have to be free from issues before doing the work. Actually, the issues itself become the door.
I
So we
see.
never have to go somewhere else to do the work. We are always starting from where we are at.
That's a very good thing, I think.
Yeah, so where we are at is always the right place because we are always ourselves, but maybe there is
Yeah.
a veil. And the veil, the issue, will lead us to the self, to the real, to the essence. So we're welcoming the difficulties because they give us the opportunity to reconnect in that particular place where we may be disconnected or we have difficulties. So yes, you could say, learning to be present, to be grounded. There are many things that are very useful for the work, but I would not say there is a prerequisite.
That's very good.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
see. So, for now, I think I have enough, kind of my all question is fulfilled. You answer me very nicely. So, uh, thank you very much
You're
for
welcome. It
this
was
one.
a pleasure,
Yeah.
pleasure to answer and to be
Okay.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.